Alright,
go ahead and check everything. You can turn on Periscope.
Yeah, we got 1,400 wagons escorting us out.
Mark to us.
Mark to us.
So can we get fire boards in response to the lows at 5 Jefferson? I think we have a fire inside here.
This is ESC on the air.
Let them know we have a package on location.
Mob Crush is not
The ESC on the air.
playing.
ESC for location? It's going to be the lows 5-2 and 5-2 in Jefferson, 5-2 in Parkside. There's a fire inside. They said they have a package on location that they can keep you protected.
I've got Mob Crush up.
Okay, do you have, because the stream from Periscope never looks right to me.
Sorry. What is your Periscope is 77 or?
3A.
Highway 3A.
Somebody trying to raise me up here, Franklin Nelson.
Car 5?
No, it's just, I don't know what it is. Periscope, TV,
I'm sorry, were you trying to raise the commander at Franklin Nelson?
That's correct. We're en route up there. We have a large arrest package. We're going to be arresting for curfew. What locations within the mall are we needed? Highway 3A, Commissioner. The staging area for arrest will be the Burger King parking lot adjacent to the old Walmart facility.
Periscope.com/RavenEyes77.
No.
Arrest those packages en route down.
Late thief fraud.
The Franklin Mills was breached at the yellow entrance. I don't know if they're still chasing them out. CO8 was over there.
Fraud, PROD. Capital L, capital T, capital P.
What we need to do is get the traffic shut off.
Okay, I see that as live.
So we can maintain control. There's still vehicles coming in from every entrance.
Make sure I've got you up and running. Nope, 404. I spelled thief wrong.
Got it. We're 5 minutes.
Nope,
5 minutes.
Got that right. LIGHTTHIEFPROD.
Northeast is stretched to the max. They each only have one wagon up here. Both wagons are now transporting prisoners. So if there will be more arrests, we are going to
LIGHTTHIEFPROD.
Isaac 22.
You send me a link. I don't know why when I type it in, it's giving me a 404, but if you send me a direct link, it'll probably work.
Meet us at Franklin Mills, so we should have
using .tv.
Highway 3A.
Yeah.
I received that, sir. I will let CO8 know.
Yeah.
We're 6-4. We're over at the Lowe's on 5-2 Jeff. We triggered the
I guess I still had a typo I couldn't see.
We got the garden area secure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's working. Let me pause that. You're gonna have comments going on any of these?
Yeah, YouTube is always on. Commenting is always on.
I just still don't see your live feed on YouTube. It's the one I'm not seeing. It's the one I need most.
Haven't sent one wagon up to Franklin Mills to the Burger King.
Let me see if I can turn off comments for it.
Command.
RBI command, you send 2,200
up to Franklin Mills to the Burger King.
Let me see if I can turn off comments for
They
it.
have to run another vehicle as well.
RBI command, you send 2,200.
Sorry.
Watching it?
So again, just to fill everyone in on what I'm doing, I got a call from some protesters to ask me to get them out from North Philly back into South Philly. And so I'm going to be trying to circumvent the city closure. Gil, if you could go ahead and comment on YouTube so that I can make you a mod. Alright.
I'm responding up to Franklin Mills. I'll be back on Northeast.
That is some serious lag.
Alright, here mod. Okay, and I don't have any of these set to basically like live interaction latency.
It's just
Okay.
You need to improvement radio 4 with a priority.
Were you able to disable comments, or am I watching those?
No, I wasn't able to.
All right, I'll keep an eye on.
Oh, yeah. Fine.
Thank you. ESC, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna head out.
All right.
ESC, I have 240 when you get please.
All right, everything seems to be running. You're being monitored by Abigail.
Tools in Somerset.
Thank you, Abby.
Boards on location on the track with a 529, so continue to car. 60th and Ludlow.
So let's see if I
Boards on
can
location with an active
help these folks out. Told them it would take me about 45 minutes to an hour to get there. It's normally a maybe 15, maybe 20-minute drive. Could be 45 minutes in bad traffic.
Second floor, we completed our sweep up, Franklin Miles are back with you. Just got over that broad and Glenwood again. Pretty heavy.
I should be in the west.
Can get there pretty quickly.
Sorry, I'm in Southwest. Sorry about that.
James,
large crowd forming and encroaching. There's 200
you asked me to patch
assist
in
the officer.
additional live feeds.
Great officers
I
and
haven't
purposes
actually
with no
done
rate.
here for this.
I'm sorry?
I haven't actually done that with Zoom.
They got a found in 529 to request an officer if you have one.
So what is the procedure for throwing an extra feed on here?
Hey, Gil?
Yeah.
I lost you there.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I'm asking about the flow for adding additional live video, since I haven't done that with this stream.
Put it on your screen and then share in the Zoom.
Okay, just share it from mine. All right, I wasn't sure if I was going through something you had set up. That's fine.
Whatever.
Yep. That's fine then. I can do that. I don't have audio from you, just so you know. Oh, I see. If anyone is watching, we'll have video and audio back in a moment once James is on his way. I am. You're very quiet.
Hello.
Yep, still on the low end of audible. You're still incredibly quiet. I hear you, but barely. There you are. Now you're audible.
Yeah, my Bluetooth audio isn't working for some reason. We'll figure it out later.
I'm pulling up the Philly for Real Justice live feed while you're moving around.
Do you have the other computer unmuted?
The scanner?
Yeah.
It is currently unmuted.
Okay. Don't hear anything, which is odd. Having the camera mounted is going to be difficult. I think we discovered this last time. Okay. All right, there's that. And Zoom meeting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not hearing the scanner.
I don't know. It's something on your stream end. I've tried muting and unmuting it. So either they're cut off all communications or you have something going on with your volume.
Sorry?
I've rechecked everything I can on this end, so whatever it is further up the chain.
Just double check that the streams are still going out.
Yep.
I'd be happy not to make
Stand by.
Sorry? Any of the streams would be effective because as long as one is working, then they're all working.
Yep, they are.
Okay. All right. Well, sorry for the lack of entertaining audio, ladies and gents, boys and girls,
A spotlight.
all genders.
Since we don't have audio from that feed, I'm going to spotlight you.
All right, that's fine.
No, there's not much going on there either. I'm about to add in for anyone hanging out and waiting for action, I'm adding in the Philadelphia for Real Justice feed as well.
Okay. I'm going to forward you this text message, Gil. If I can figure out how to. Just group text that number. So with me, like group text it with me.
They live less than 1 block away.
Give me that again. Group text it where?
Group text that number that's in that text message that I just forwarded you with me. Like, so group text that number and my number so that
I see. Okay.
So that I don't have to enter that number into a new text message while I'm driving?
Yes.
We're going to get up here to an intersection that usually has police presence anyway. So concerned that they might have tried to shut it down. We'll see. For folks wondering what the heck is going on, I'm trying to make my way around the city's PPT blockade. The Philly police have shut all roads north of South Street and south of Vine Street completely to vehicular traffic. To get around that, I can go out to 76 and then up to Route 1 and then all the way around, which is what I'm hoping to do. feels a lot like smuggling people. Yeah, if you want to share that video that you've got from
I'm working on it.
That's fine. I'm happy for you to do that.
I'm gonna have to set up with a second device.
I'm super worried about being on the highway. I've heard them talking on the scanner all day about using the state police to close the exits that they don't want people to go off the highway on, to keep them out of Center City. That seems easy enough. Like, it doesn't seem like they're trying to shut down the highways or anything like that. As usual, commerce must go through. I don't know what else to tell y'all right now. It was an interesting evening. I've never once before thought that I would be attempting to smuggle people across my own city because they were participating in a peaceful protest and the city decided to disperse chemical weapons against them, and therefore they needed to evacuate quickly. There's many things I could say about this, but again, I don't care what your politics are. This isn't a Democrat thing. This isn't a Republican thing. We have some of the most liberal and open to different ideas people in city government here. I regularly, very regularly work with, negotiate with the Republican, the sole remaining Republican city council member, and I've never once felt threatened or ignored by that city council member. But this, I don't know what it is about the current state of play that makes them think that violating all civil liberties is okay. They apparently do. I don't know if I'm making any sense. It's weird to just talk into the camera like this all the time. I'm used to talking to people. I have no issues debating anybody or setting aside animosity for the opportunity to talk to somebody.
While you're driving, James, do you want to chime in on the thing I mentioned before you started your stream? Curious to hear your thoughts about it.
Oh, well, can you just give a brief primer?
Yeah, there have been many calls for, in particular, white allies to quote, not instigate or incite, and to refrain from any kind of destructive or quote violent action in order to basically play, in my opinion, into respectability politics and supposedly keep Black allies safe on the streets, as though the police are only targeting people who are doing nefarious things and not targeting people for their skin and for being out there at all. And my sentiment on it is that it actually keeps people safer if everyone is doing similar actions in multiple places.
Yes, absolutely. That's historically true. Like there's plenty of historic indicators that tell you, like, I hate to invoke the Nazi regime because, you know, people, as soon as you do, throw your argument right out the window. However, we are experiencing things that are exactly like the beginning of the Nazi regime, the beginnings of World War II. Kristallnacht was I don't know. I could go off on this for hours, and I probably shouldn't. The end all of the argument, to sum up the argument, the TLDR is, yes, if everyone is doing things that are quote unquote illegal, then the legality changes rather than everyone getting arrested. They don't have the power to arrest everyone. That's why, as police are going up against protesters, they're going up against large groups, because it's like fishing. You go out and you go and find the biggest school of fish that you can. You throw out your net and you catch as many as you can, and you don't worry about the ones that got away because you figure you'll catch them later. In this particular case, they are criminalizing individuals who aren't doing anything wrong. The marchers that were cornered and put into jail at 7th and Chestnut were not being violent. There's no tear gas released. There were no rocks thrown. You were all listening to the scanner when I was streaming that earlier. There was no violence at 6th and Chestnut. Why then did anybody get arrested? Well, they got arrested because the police cordoned them down into a small area that has high buildings around it, low visibility, and it was easy for them to arrest a bunch of people with a protest going on a couple blocks away and stifle their freedom of speech. They were exercising their right to speak. They were exercising it peacefully. And whether or not you like it, whether or not you like what they have to say, people have the right to speak. You can counter-protest. You can tell people, you know, that their opinion is wrong. You can tell them to fuck off. But arresting people or asking for them to be arrested so that you don't have to hear them is stifling their freedom of speech. That's just not the way things work. If you don't like it, yes, you can shout louder. But using the state as an agent of your anger is never correct. You know, I've made that mistake myself many times, thinking that it would be ideal to use the state as a tool of my incredulity or as a tool of my anger. And for better or for worse, I don't have the privilege of being in a class of people that the state finds empathy with. I'm a visibly ethnic person. I'm a black man. I grew up in a black household. I grew up with a family that served in the military and wanted to do right by this country because we all love it. And time and again, we have people trying to stop us from living our lives. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Just clearing off some of my
James, you're still up on Mob Crush, but I'm not sure if you're still up on YouTube and Facebook.
I don't care. Just so long as just keep an eye on Mob Crush because Mob Crush auto records as well.
Okay.
If I drop off all three, then just record the Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know, you might be asking yourself, well, why the heck is this guy streaming from his car as he's trying to go pick up some people who got stuck in North Philly? To be quite honest, because the state closure or the city closure orders scare the crap out of me. The wording on them is so wide and so vague that literally being anywhere outside your own house for any reason right now between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. It's currently 9:47 p.m. Is illegal in this entire city limits of Philadelphia. There's a lot of people out here. Don't get me wrong. It isn't enforceable. They don't have the manpower to pull over and ticket every person driving or stop every person from being out. And that plays also to what you were saying. Like, there are so many people out. If they tried to enforce this order, there's not that many jail cells in the entire city. In the entire country, there's probably not that many jail cells. Yeah, I'm streaming this because as I encounter resistance to the simple idea of trying to help somebody, I want to be sure that if something goes sideways or pear-shaped, that there is video evidence of who and what did what. Hey, Gil, can you,
yes,
do you have Chris Miller as a contact on Facebook?
I do not.
Can you add him? He just texted me on Facebook, but add him on your Facebook and message him and just let him know I am okay, but that I'm streaming, and if he wants to jump on the YouTube as an admin or anything, that's fine, that he can look at the stream.
Sure.
Okay.
I've got it here for now, but yeah, help would help.
Okay.
All right. It's almost like it's easier to struggle together or something.
Yeah. All right. I'm just going to park here for a moment. I'm going to see if I can find these folks. Fine. Sorry for the radio silence. I'm trying to let these folks know where I am.
If you want to compare what you're seeing once you've been in touch with them, we've got a question on the YouTube comments about what it's like out there and specifically comparing it to last night.
Okay. Okay, great. Sounds like they're on their way. So, what am I seeing out here? This is what I'm seeing. A little trashier than usual. This is an area of the city that's not well served, so it ends up having quite a bit of litter from time to time. As you can see, there's a Boost right next door to a Cricket. Right next door to a Crown Chicken, right next door to a Young's Deli. And there's a police car with its lights on over on Erie over there. This is not atypical for Erie. Erie generally does have that police presence. In this particular case, the police presence is trying to block off access to Erie, and that's why they're here. So, there are plenty of people out. It doesn't seem like a atypical day from the fact of traffic. There's no burnt out buildings. There's no damage. A lot of these are locally owned buildings. A lot of them are already security hardened because of the nature of the area. So you'll see fancier gates like these, but the buildings that don't have fancy gates, that are just locally owned, have not been damaged in any sort of way. So that's what I'm seeing and how it compares to the usual. Yeah. Any other questions out there?
Not off the YouTube feed, but unfortunately, I was not able to add in a second feed for when things get quiet. It's just freezing on the Zoom, but things are continuing to hold at 52nd Street last I saw.
Yeah, I've been.
I can get some updates on that.
I was unable to monitor the radio chatter after I got home. I needed a break. Sorry about that. But yeah, I needed a break, and so I took one. I had some food, and was unable to monitor the radio chatter, but did see more stories about the use of the gas. Apparently, they have an MRAP. I don't know if it's a National Guard MRAP or a City of Philadelphia owned MRAP.
For those who are not aware, microwave radiation. Is that right? One of those guys? Is that what the MRAP is? Or is that something else?
Or at least that's not what I'm thinking of when I'm talking about it. MRAP being an armored personnel carrier.
Oh.
Specific type.
Mine-resistant, ambush-protected. Yes.
Yes.
I need to up on my police tech acronyms, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, so they have an MRAP, and it's very clearly like, well, this is quite unusual to see cop cars screaming down the street, but the folks I'm here to pick up said that they're on their way, but I don't see them yet. Anyway, so yeah, they have an MRAP, and it was firing canisters as it just randomly drove down streets in the area. So they have some sort of mounted tear gas canister fire. Sorry, there's police going in literally every direction right now. I just saw a police car turn around, like make a U-turn behind me. Interesting.
I'm getting a call from the number you gave me. Hold on, let me call them.
Okay.
Hi, this is Gil. No, I'm in touch. I'm in touch with James. James is there. James is there. You should have received a pin. Yes. Yeah, he's in the group. Sure thing. You should be getting a call in a moment, James.
Okay. My video will obviously freeze when that happens, so. Mm-hmm. I'm going to mute myself now. If you want to fill the dead air with some sort of broadcast, that would be great.
I'll see what I can do.
Sorry about that. So anyway,
Yeah, so that's what we're doing tonight. We just had a fire truck drive by. I assume something is on fire nearby. Uh-oh. Oh, looks like Gil dropped off the feed by accident.
Hi,
hey,
James.
how's it going?
Pleasure to meet you for the first time.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, you're back.
Okay, great. Hang on a second.
An exciting moment to lose all connection.
Oh, awesome. Let me see if I can make you... Nope, I can't do anything with you. Are you still the host?
I'm checking that now. It looks like no.
Huh. Weird. I can't make you a host either. I'm going to mute myself again just so I can get where we're going. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Much easier.
All right. You guys want to talk about your day?
Yeah, we had a very long day.
All right.
It was nice and civil. Even up until we got up here. It started at City Hall, marched down to, I'd say about 40th. Pretty much like the heart of Drexel.
Yeah.
Moved back. Stayed at City Hall for a little bit longer. And eventually you could tell they were trying to put pressure on us, so we just went up to Broad. Started marching north because that's where we could go. And then made it all the way up to Huntington. And that's when straight up a cop told us, like, you've got 5 minutes, you might want to go. And then, yeah, because it was pretty much once we got up to Huntington, we kind of gathered a big group. Hunting Park, not Huntington, yeah.
I know, I keep it.
Right. And then we kind of just made like a big old U over the street and the sides, cut off like Germantown, obviously. And then started to pull cops up behind us. We were like blocked in. Had a good idea that was going to be bad.
Yeah.
And right around, that's when the guy was like, all right, 5 minutes, guys. And the dudes up front just started shoving a couple girls. My friend tried to get in between, got hit with a baton. He's definitely in jail now. And then from there on, everyone just started running back south as much as we can. They then, out of nowhere, dropped the helicopter, like literally 20 feet above us. Just like, but I don't know if they were trying to do tear gas related things or just to scare us. But yeah, I have some great videos. We're there at the gas station and just out of nowhere, easily 30 cop cars themselves just start piling in, coming up out of nowhere behind us. And we're like, oh, okay. This is going to be a way. And then it was. And then, yeah, everyone just started running like crazy. They just started coming down at us with the bikes, cutting off traffic. There was a dude who got pulled out of his car.
Cop car speeding down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Fucking hit us.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I guess that was the goal, to bring it somewhere that they felt uncomfortable, and that's probably why I think at Hunting Park they drew the line, because they were like, anything north, we're gonna be out of our element.
Yeah, they've been out of their element all day.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I heard about Vine Street. When we were at City Hall, they said Vine Street. Because a group, when we went up to go to 30th to just do the lap west and back, they,
I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, right? The doors are open.
What is that?
Rite Aid.
Rite Aid?
Yeah.
So, there was
Fine Wine and Spirits.
Yeah, when
expropriation on some of the, we're at Broad and Allegheny. Gil, do you still have good audio on us?
I do. I have your audio and I can monitor all feeds. I just can't change Zoom.
That's fine. We're at Allegheny. There were about, so that was probably where all the cops that we saw go past us were going. It's a Rite Aid there and a
liquor store.
The liquor store, the state store, yeah, there, and those were both broken into and goods expropriated.
Oh, when we were walking from Tioga to you, just at 2 blocks, there were people running out of a Cricket.
Yeah.
And then that's when the cops came passing up. I thought they were going to that, but it didn't seem so. They were probably going to where they were just now.
Yeah.
That would make more sense.
Yeah. So, where did your march start today?
City Hall.
Yeah.
City Hall, yeah. And then after, like, the rally itself was over, marched up, like I said, to 30th Street. But then when we got back, another group went over to the Vine Street Bridge. And that's, I guess, where a lot of things is now, Arch and all
that. Ben Franklin Bridge?
Yeah, the whole, like, underpass, overpass.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think they were going there specifically. Because when we were coming up on Broad, there was state police. The state police held the bridge yesterday, too, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if that's, like, jurisdiction. 95.
Yeah,
maybe.
From what I understand, the state police are the ones being asked to shut down exits and on-ramps and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch. They were at City Hall with their horses, and that was our big gripe. It's like, none of y'all are from here. Like, all of y'all are from Pottstown. Like, go protect Pottstown. The Walmart's getting looted there.
Go to King of Prussia.
Yeah.
The whole entire King of Prussia Mall seems to be open season.
Yeah.
Those are the intelligent looters.
Yeah, right. That we were sitting there. It's like 11:30 last night. We're like, oh wow, like they're actually like 1 a.m. to 11:30 maybe.
Yeah. So I don't know how much you guys heard because you've been out in marching and stuff all day.
We're out of the loop for the bulk of what's happening now.
52nd Street turned into a standoff with police and protesters, and protesters basically surrounded a small group of police officers, and at least from what they were reporting on the scanner, they were surrounded by police officers, or they were surrounded by protesters, and some rocks were thrown at them. So they,
of course,
Right.
reacted with force.
yeah.
I heard something. Well, she should have.
I saw a video of them throwing some sort of like gas in a residential area.
It's the armored
Yeah, that was
trucks.
out
They were
there.
spraying.
Yeah, we were talking about the MRAP just before you came. Yeah, so I still don't know who owns that MRAP, if it's owned by the city or owned by the state police or owned by the National Guard, but yeah, it's firing
That came way too fast. Yeah,
canisters.
it has to be, because like the state police haven't even been out there. I mean, who knows? Like, has the National Guard got called in yet?
Yeah, the National Guard is supposed to be on its way. It's supposed to be mobilized here. And there's a closure order river to river from Vine Street to South Street, which is why we're having to go a weird around route. actually got me to you pretty quick because I just took the highway.
Yeah.
But to get to where you're going, I have to take the other highway. So.
Are you still driving around?
No, I was sitting at home and I just saw your social media post.
It's definitely appreciated.
Such appreciated. I think we're at like 10, 11 miles at this point.
More than that. Okay, let's be real.
Our voice is gone.
You gotta think every block is a mile. We're probably at like 20. And we did all of yesterday from like 1 till about like, evening. Or like 10 or 11. Well, last night got different quick. This stayed peaceful until the very end. There was a point where a couple kids ran off to go like break into a GameStop, but everyone shut it. The protesters, the people in the rally. It wasn't until we hit Hunting Park.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, and Gil, you might be able to look this up or bring in some other resources.
Go ahead.
I don't know if these are tactics that are coming with Outlaw or not. I don't know. I do remember something about some similar...
Oh, whether Outlaw used this tactics in Portland?
Yeah.
My gut is to say in general, yes. I can't point you to a specific...
Yeah, I remember something about one particular protest march being kind of guided to an area where they were surrounded by white nationalists and police.
Yeah, and Outlaw has I did some research on Outlaw back when Outlaw first joined up with Philly, and a lot of superficial words of solidarity while consistently using repressive tactics on protests and making statements on both sides and good cops. I mean, she can only go so far outside of her role without quitting.
Well, I don't know. The previous commissioner wasn't so bad. Previous commissioner definitely seemed to be able to find a way of negotiating with protest leaders and keeping things de-escalated no matter how heated the protest got. I filmed 3 protests before Outlaw, 2 under one commissioner and 1 under another commissioner, and the previous commissioner definitely had a system in place to not escalate these sort of things.
How long has she been our commissioner?
She's 3 months on the job, I think.
It was just in the past year. Or I guess literally this year.
Yeah.
Under Outlaw's watch in 2018, at least 2 people were sent to the hospital with serious injuries after being hit directly with stun grenades launched by police, while police were firing flashbang grenades, rubber bullets, and pepper spray into a crowd of demonstrators, and went on to a conservative talk show afterwards and said that the protesters were acting like children who had lost a schoolyard fight and gone off to whine and complain.
Huh.
So that's what we've inherited here.
Luckily, we don't have I don't think our police have in their inventory. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure they don't, considering the amount of tear gas they're trying to use.
There's a couple, there were a couple moments yesterday that bangs went off and there was no tear gas, and people were saying, "Oh, they're using flashbangs." But in my mind, I just thought they were duds because there was still simultaneously tear gas going off. So I think it was more just them getting lucky. Because, yeah, I mean, at this point, I've seen a lot. What, what they're up to the past 2 days. And yeah, it's just been tear gas pretty much. And a baton whack here or there, throwing people down, obviously trying to just snatch and grab.
Yeah. So here we have the top end of the road closures for Center City. And I know a couple of ally folks were very grateful that they have Center City closed off because there was a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about the curfew, both the details of it currently and how it's actually affecting the streets? We've got some questions about that on YouTube.
I think the curfew is just an excuse for them to use force, because last night at maybe 7:45, they're like 8 o'clock curfew, and it's like, that's obviously unreasonable. So such a big city. And then tonight, when we were at City Hall, everyone's alarm went off on their phones, cops included.
It was like 5:50.
And at 5:50, and then we're all just like, oh, there's a curfew now? Like, even the cops had no idea.
Yeah, he issued the order at like 5:45. He issued the order at like 3 o'clock for a 5 o'clock curfew, but then he didn't have a way to enforce it because not even the police had known about it.
Yeah, it was. And at this point, though, because it's when they were saying up there, like, yo, in 5 minutes, it's going to get worse. I think that's them being like, okay, now we're just going to start arresting, and we can say, like, they even mentioned, like, you're going to get arrested for curfew.
Yeah.
All of you are getting arrested for curfew, and that's when they kind of made the push.
Yeah.
And that's when everyone had to run. But yeah, they had a helicopter, like, above us the whole time, which is understandable. But once they started charging us and we started running, in the middle of the group, I have video of it, they tried to start landing this helicopter. And obviously she saw people on the side that maybe looked like they were going to just like dump tear gas down from above us and just kind of let it miss. But we just ran high. Yeah.
If you want to send some of that video
absolutely, especially because again, like the protest was peaceful. We wouldn't have walked up this far if we, planned on violence.
Hell, once we got up to like Tioga, some of the neighbors were out, and they're like, "Where are y'all coming from?" We're like, "City Hall." They're like, "What?" I mean, we didn't. We all raised our hands.
I don't have a Facebook account itself, but I can still message you.
Do you have Google Drive or anything like that?
Yeah, I can share it to you on the Drive.
Yeah.
Just let me see on for.
Hey, Gil.
Yes.
Would you text him my Gmail address, and if you want access to these now, so that you might be able to share them, your Gmail address?
Mm-hmm.
It's super helpful having somebody in a different location being able to do things for you. Especially when you're live streaming stuff and you don't want to reveal like every single thing about your life.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that was interesting. Yeah, the 676 is completely closed throughout the city. So I'm trying to do kind of an end run here around the closure so that I can get to 95 South so that we can bypass. I don't quite understand the logic behind them shutting down the Ben Franklin Bridge.
Especially out. I understand inward, but outward?
Yeah.
Like, do we have to take the Coney or like the Whitman? That's yes, I mean.
Walt Whitman is open. Ross is open. I think all the other bridges are. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want people to march over the bridge. I'm gonna switch cameras again. Sure. You can hold that side, please, or whatever. It's now yeah, it's selfie cam. So yeah, so we're kind of on our way here. What are you looking for? You can switch the cam if you click on the top.
The banner just.
Yeah, here.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if that feed coming in upside down for you, Gil.
Is the bottom one the feed?
Yeah.
It's still upright.
Still upright.
Okay.
All right. I just need to see where I'm supposed to. Okay.
And I have his email, so once we're settled, I'll definitely send that to him right away.
Awesome. So yeah, but as you can see, the highways aren't being controlled.
That's what I don't understand. Like, and that was, I don't know, like, they put so much effort into us just marching. The second that it was over, everyone just like started flying back because they realized, like, what did we do? It's like if there was no, you could tell they just have no idea what to do. They're out of their element. Not our element per se, but overexhausted, overextended.
You mean the police?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 52nd Street was a nightmare today. All of the stores up on Aramingo, and a lot of the stores around K&A. A lot of the stores.
Richmond had issues.
Richmond, yeah, it's K&A. Germantown Ave.
I heard of something going on in Point Breeze. I forget what it's something like 1518. I don't know, it said Point Breeze, but it could have just been Broad.
If you want to turn that on selfie cam for a while, just so I don't want to give away where you're
going to.
I appreciate that. Once we get off the highway here, let's stick it in this one. It's kind of finicky, so just for a second. Sorry if this switches me to vertical video. I need to follow directions.
I can't believe we.
I'm not gonna be able to do it until I get Wi-Fi.
No, that's fine.
And all that, but once
awesome.
I do.
Sorry, towards west.
Yeah, even last night, around 11 o'clock, when just the looting was happening, just looting itself, there was a moment where there was easily 100 people on the street, and like 6 cops came walking up, everyone left. But as we're like the last ones leaving, because we were just, there to be there, and they got this last guy and just like grabbed him, threw him on the ground as he was like the straggler, and everyone had to come running back and like argue with the police. I also have that video I'll send too of a good like 3-minute argument. And the cops straight up, like, the one cop tried to be like, well, I'm Puerto Rican. Then he used I have black friends. Then the black lady cop tried to be like, oh, well, something about white people. And then you had to get all of the other people of color to be like, no, like, this is, the cop even tried to say, oh, it's just one cop. Like, what are you guys doing? It's just one cop. So I think, like, maybe some kind of, like, that's the whole issue with police force. Lack of education and like training.
Yeah, some folks are saying that National Guard is being deployed, and I keep saying I'm super glad that the National Guard is being deployed on the side, because they have training to de-escalate in a war zone, which is not something police are familiar with.
Because it's like they're exhausted, so I understand. But yeah, it's little things, working under pressure while being exhausted.
I mean,
being tired and not getting upset that you've been called something,
Are you gonna say something?
May have the training, but historically they come in and escalate. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that take.
Well,
I mean,
depends what part of history you look at. Historically, as far as like if you go back to the 60s, yes, but National Guard training wasn't the same in the 60s as it is now.
There was that video that got out last night of that woman in Minneapolis on her porch.
Yeah, that was not the National Guard firing on her, though. That was the local PD.
Oh, okay, they were just in the gear?
Yeah, they weren't in National Guard gear. They were in local Minneapolis PD gear.
Okay, because it was displayed as National Guard.
The National Guard was the trucks that drove through first.
Oh, okay.
National Guard do not wear all black or navy blue. They wear camo.
That's what I thought, like tan camo. Because I remember them from the Pogue, like, and that was just like a jolly old time. Those days.
So yeah, I would expect. Gil, do you have any info on how the National Guard reacted all day yesterday, and now that we're going into the middle of the night today in Minneapolis?
I don't. I've either been.
Yeah, we've been kind of focused on Philly today.
Yeah, right.
Or out taking care of things that have to happen in the world around the house. So.
Yeah.
I don't know anything that you wouldn't get from a quick Google search, which I'm doing now, but I'm sure it's not going to be enlightening to most of our listeners.
Another big issue I had is the lack of news coverage, live news coverage for local news. Like you could go on, like CNN obviously did their bounce around, but Philadelphia local news was not covering it at all. Like live, like outside of having cable and being able to turn on your cable, you weren't able to get any live stream. Like there was people I saw on Reddit, like I had to tell them like, no, the fire's under control. Cause they're like, I live 2 houses down. Is the fire okay? Like I'm not getting anything. There's a 3-alarm fire. It's like,
well, I don't know if you're planning on going to.
No. Life easier.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to any actions later this week, but keep in touch. I'm running these. Let me back up a little bit so that
just in case,
needs to get by. I'm running these streams via Zoom.
Okay.
So if we have multiple people interacting from Zoom, we can, if you want somebody to witness what you're seeing.
I have like my 2 friends that I'm constantly sending video of, so I can just put y'all in the loop, especially if I have the Gmail now. To make it easier. Absolutely, man.
Great. Yeah. So and feel free to join live because we're recording everything that's going out via Zoom. So.
Okay. Yeah, that would be even better because someone asked me, "Are you putting this on Facebook Live?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want." But third party is perfect.
All right. Great. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Great meeting you.
You're very nice. And Gil, thank you.
Glad you're both safe.
For helping me out earlier when I accidentally called you.
Sure.
All right, take care. I'll hit you up
out there.
on the drive with all
Thanks for being on the street, both of you.
Yeah.
You take care.
All right. So that was relatively successful. Relatively safe. A little sketchy there when I turned the corner on Vine Street. Because them having 676 blocked off like they did scared the driver in front of me, which they were about to back into me. It's they're doing quite a number of things that I would question as legal. The mayor's order, for instance, ordered all businesses closed unless they were identified as essential businesses under the COVID order. I don't know how that can interact. An order for one state of emergency, I'm not sure an order for one state of emergency can interact with an order for another state of emergency. But
in addition to the questionable legality, even in a moment of crises, you might want to speak to the intent versus the stated intent, which is where my mind would go. So I'd like to hear your...
The intent versus the stated intent.
The intent of curfew being, for me, it's that the intent of curfew is to keep the peace.
Well, sure.
Which is precisely what the protests are intending to disrupt. Whereas the curfew is supposedly... This is why I asked you to talk about it, so that I would have time to gather my thoughts and not be incoherent.
So you're wondering, you're trying to...
I'm drawing a dichotomy between the publicity around the curfews and what they're selling, that they're selling a feeling of security to the people who benefit from a lack of justice, and they're preventing protests which are demanding accountability.
It is an interesting... So this is, you and I had a long conversation around the idea of, I'm sorry, I'm not finding it in my brain right at the moment. We had a long conversation around, but in essence, I said that all actions are theater, and the best theater attacks people on multiple levels. And all the actions of the city are also theater. Like, a curfew isn't going to actually accomplish the goal of stopping businesses from being broken into. It hasn't. If the scanner was live right now, you would be hearing multiple reports of businesses being looted, businesses being broken into. Apparently one's happening down Snyder somewhere right now. And you would hear these things because they're... Oop, I just saw two officers actually run. I've never seen that before. So anyway, because these things are not ruled by, it's the kind of and this, it's not a good argument for against gun control, but it's one of the arguments that people use against gun control, which is, if you outlaw guns, only criminals will have guns. If you outlaw people being out, only outlaws will be out. Outlaws aren't going to care. Like, if your intent is to loot a store, expropriate the goods of a store for your own needs, then you're still going to do it, regardless of what the city says about whether or not you're allowed to be out. The only advantage of an order like this is to instantly make anyone outside their homes technically, outlaws. I'm an outlaw right now because I'm outside my home. There is a state of emergency declaration that I'm supposed to shelter in place, but I'm driving around to try and help people. So, and I've said this before about, and there's a lot of legal theory. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know all the details of it. But there's a lot of legal theory around any sort of activity that you make on its face illegal when somebody's trying to do it. So this goes to driving law. The laws around driving in court and traffic court. Traffic court isn't run like an actual jurisprudence. It is a funding mill. Because the way traffic laws are written, anytime you are on the street in a motor vehicle and operating a motor vehicle, you are in some way or another breaking the law. There's no fully legal way to operate a motor vehicle. And you're not gonna see a bunch of lawyers talking about that, but if you really look at the law, the number of times that a normal driver driving safely will commit an infraction is insane. Like, people just going to work break the law every day. And there's an element of nullification to those laws because of that, and unenforceability. So, this is the same thing. They issued a closure order, which just basically puts them in the right, puts them where they need to be so that they can do what they want to do. And what they want to do is have an excuse to have an impact on people that perhaps they shouldn't. I don't know. And all of these arguments all tie in together. There was discussion around the cleanup people. There's folks here in Philadelphia volunteering to clean up the businesses, the business districts that got hit by rioters. And it isn't an ally move. You're not being an ally if you go counter the message of your Black and brown brothers and sisters by cleaning up a mess that they intentionally made. So anyway, there's this whole group of folks that volunteered to clean up all of this stuff, and they volunteered to do so because it made them feel better. And making yourself feel better is an element of self-care. And we keep going. I talked about this before, but we're back to it. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm home and safe.
Good.
And that went well. We got a couple of folks home that were having some difficulty, and I'm glad. You have anything else, Gil?
I got nothing else. I need to sleep.
All right, I'm gonna mute this. If you would switch this to the standby screen. Oh no, you can't. Anyway, I'm just gonna stop.
Check in with me tomorrow, and we'll do some tech review to improve things for next time.
All right, great.
Have a good night.
You too.
Actually, I'm staying on the phone just long enough to make sure you're actually in the house okay.
Thanks. Yeah, I put the
feed. I apparently can spotlight when there's more than 2 members to the call. So that's the key here. Is I need to have 3 people on each video chat. Otherwise, I can't spotlight from the phone. But having you on board is great because need my keys. Having you on board is great because having somebody live witnessing and helping and controlling things is great. All right. Try this once again. My wife is worried about me, so time to let her know what's going on.
Give her my love.
I will. All right. In the house successfully. Awesome.
Have a good night.
You too. Stay safe. Well, thanks everybody for watching. If you're still watching, I'll do the normal YouTube sign up, like, share, subscribe, all of that. Check out my Twitch feed, twitch.tv. In order to have that at a normal level, you need more viewers and viewership. Thanks everybody. I'll talk to you soon.